So I want to go through a couple of things that were added for Office version 9. Some things have been there for a while, but we don't talk about them that often. We jump into the workflows and we don't hit these things that I think are everyday time savers, everyday difference makers, if you will. Okay, so let's talk about working with data first. I want to start here. So this little cluster of commands here is this is, man, I'm in these things all day every day, right? The ability to come out here, select a couple of these. Now, one thing that you have to remember is Topcon Office is often select first, then initiate a command. Okay, so sometimes we get into an old AutoCAD mindset where we can, pick it or initiate a command and then pick the objects. We have the capability in Office to pick the objects we want and then initiate the command, right? So there was my isolate. So we isolate down to just what it is we need, and then we can turn those all back on. Okay. Now we did another video about these where we customized a toolbar. We customized some of the quick keys. So here's my customization, right? There's my isolate. Same thing as right here. Okay, I did that by right-clicking, creating a new toolbar, and then customizing the commands that are in there. Okay, so that's the view isolate. Again, I use this one a lot. There's another one here in the edit menu that's the select by. Okay, and I think I've done a few videos on this. I've done a few at least mentions of this in the past. So the select by allows you to come in and say, pick a specific layer, specific object type, or I can say, hey, you know what? I want all of the text on all layers. I want all colors, all heights, all fonts. I can isolate these down to just specifics, or I can say, grab all of them. Okay, now something that's changed or that's been made easier for the current version is capabilities we have with the right click. And this is an area I want to focus on today. Select by and select similar. Okay, so these are two that I use again all the time. These are time savers, right? So if you've been in here, you have the selection cycling. So if you pick where there's a lot of objects without me having to zoom in, I can get exactly what I want in a crowded area. I can turn the selection cycling off in settings, just turn it off. Now it's only going to pick one thing that goes away. Okay, so I keep mine on because I do use it. I'm going to do the right click and I'm going to do select by. So this is that select by command again. Let's say I wanted to convert all polylines to string lines. I could say polylines. I don't want to do text this time. I want polylines. Select all polylines. I could give it settings, more specifically, what do you want to do? So these are the objects that are polylines. Well, that got everything. That's way too much. I really only want the polylines that are on this curb layer. So now again, we can do the select by, and we could say, hey, what we want here is what's on the curb and gutter polylines, and now only those are selected. So now we could go right to modify, convert polyline to strings. Those are converted over. Okay, so right click, select by. The other one that's in here that's pretty awesome in version 9 is the select similar. Okay, now you can go to the select similar settings and you can tell it which parameters you want to match up. Okay, which things do you want? But the way select similar works is I pick an object, I right click and say select similar, And now it picked everything that matched those settings that I had just set. Okay, so if I were to take all of those, for example, and let's make them stand out, let's change the color to red. They're now all red. So those are a couple things that were added to 9 that are um, pretty handy. Now there's a lot more that's been added into version 9, but those were 2 key ones that I wanted to hit on, because those are 2 that, again, they're game changers for me. These are things that I can use on a daily basis. When we start talking about modeling, or even just basic drafting, basic CAD work, those are things that I would use on a pretty regular basis. You know, I want to get my text here, right click, select similar. We pick up all the text on that same layer. Okay, now we could change the height, we could change the color, we could change the font, we could do whatever. The other piece with these, if we do the select similar, we can go to properties, and now we could say, hey, make all of those italicized and bold. Right, so those quick selection, quick functions, just like we had with the view layers, on and off, isolate, all of these different things. I even created layer groups so that I can quickly use my shortcuts here and say, hey, here's my design data, show me only design, show me only existing, or turn all layers back on. For more content like this, please log into your My Topcon Now account and see the other videos available for Topcon Office users today.